1.3 billion. That's the staggering number of active websites currently sitting out there on the internet right now. And as you can probably guess, that number is going up literally every single day. We're starting off with this number because we really need to get a handle on the immense scale of digital obscurity that professional service providers are up against today.
To put that kind of crazy volume into perspective, if each one of those 1.3 billion websites was just a single thin sheet of paper stacked one on top of the other, that paper stack would reach over 140 kilometers high. I mean, that is a third of the way to the International Space Station. It's a vivid analogy, but it perfectly illustrates why so many incredibly capable law firms find their digital presence completely buried. You could literally have the best legal minds in the city, but if your website is stuck at the bottom of a 140-kilometer stack, well, you're effectively invisible.
Welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because we're going to crack the code on a major frustration for professional service providers. Today, we're diving deep into digital marketing specifically for law firms. We are going to demystify exactly why traditional search-based marketing so often yields absolutely zero ROI when it comes to complex legal services. And much more importantly, we'll uncover what actually does work to drive real, scalable growth. Here is our quick roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the digital marketing problem, then compare push versus pull marketing and expose the keyword search trap. After that, we'll look at digitizing word of mouth, and finally unpack the ADR strategy. So we've got a really concrete, logical blueprint to solve those marketing frustrations.
Okay, let's dive right into part one, the digital marketing problem. We have to start by acknowledging a huge disconnect between delivering excellent client service in the real world and actually being found online.
You know, the internet was supposed to do the heavy lifting for us, right? It's the greatest step change in how we do business. And yet many law firms are basically like a small sapling. Their growth is just getting crushed under this heavy rock of historical trends and old habits. Think about it. You're out there delighting your clients, you're exceeding expectations in the courtroom or the boardroom, and you've invested heavily in overheads. You need to grow fast to make that investment worth it. But because so many firms fail to properly engage an audience on social media or leverage their existing real-world reputation, their digital growth is completely stifled.
Let's move on to part two, push versus pull marketing. Because to lift that rock, we need to clearly break down the two primary conceptual frameworks of digital marketing.
First up, we have push marketing. Think of this like your traditional broadcasting or outbound marketing. You are actively pushing your content forward and distributing it to specific people. In the digital space, a perfect example is using a platform like Facebook to push highly relevant messages, videos, or articles directly to targeted demographics based on exactly who they are and what they do. You define the audience, and the algorithm delivers the message right to their feed.
On the flip side, we have pull marketing. This strategy is all about attracting audiences who are already out there looking for you. You optimize your website so that when a user searches for a specific keyword on a platform like Google, your content pulls them in. It's search engine optimization, or SEO, at its core. You're essentially setting up a beacon, right? And then you just wait for someone to actively seek out your specific light.
Now, what's really interesting about these two frameworks is how success is actually measured. The key performance indicator for pull marketing on Google absolutely requires active search demand. Simply put, if people aren't searching for your specific keywords, you won't be found. Doesn't matter how great your content is. Push marketing on Facebook, though, relies purely on audience relevance. You're connecting, licking, and chatting. You find the exact audience that needs your expertise and push the content right to them, totally bypassing the need for them to search for it first.
Which brings us to part three, the keyword search trap. It is time to tear down the myth that simply throwing money at a better SEO strategy is the ultimate silver bullet for a high-level law firm. Let's be real. The sheer saturation out there is overwhelming. If you type Lawyer Johannesburg into Google, you're competing against roughly 500,000 results. If you try Law Firm Johannesburg, that number absolutely balloons to 5 million results. Just for some context, searching for a local veterinarian brings up about 400,000 results. If you're relying solely on generic legal searches, you're basically throwing your firm right back to the bottom of that 140-kilometer paper stack, crossing your fingers and hoping someone eventually digs deep enough to find you.
And the hard data proves that it gets even worse for specialized practices. Simple street law queries like, say, how do you get a power of attorney, might pull in a massive 550,000 searches a month. But look at complex corporate law. The search volume for mergers and acquisitions drops drastically to just 4,000 searches a month. For unbundling, it's practically zero. The more complex and expert-led your services are, the less people are blindly searching for them on Google.
So the crucial point is this. Aside from highly process-driven representation, people simply do not search the internet for expert legal practitioners with established reputations. When a CEO needs a complex corporate unbundling, they don't jump on a search engine, type in a few keywords, and just click the very first ad they see. No way. They look for established credibility, they look for referrals, they lean heavily on the reputations of the practitioners in their own professional networks.
All right, part 4, digitizing word of mouth. If SEO isn't the magic answer for high-level legal work, we really need to modernize the way law firms have historically always grown.
We all know law firms grow their market reach by reputation and referral. That's a given. But get this, here's an incredibly surprising statistic from the research. 80% of major South African law firms do not even have a Facebook pixel installed on their websites. 80%. That means they are entirely missing the boat on tracking and targeting audiences through push marketing. Because so few firms are doing this, the competitiveness for targeted advertising in this space is actually incredibly low. There's a massive untapped opportunity sitting right there for you to amplify your reputation digitally.
The solution here really comes down to balance. You can't just pile all your resources onto one side of the scale with SEO and Google AdWords. You have to balance it out by incorporating reputation and referral marketing, bringing push and pull together to essentially digitize your word of mouth. When you balance these efforts, you're not just crossing your fingers and relying on being found, you're actively placing your firm's solid reputation right in front of the people who matter most.
And that leads us to our final section, Part 5, the ADR strategy. Let's look at how this all builds into a concrete, actionable blueprint you can actually use.
So what is ADR? It stands for Attract, Delight, and Reward. Think of this as a core give-to-get philosophy. Honestly, as a successful law firm, you're already doing the hardest part of this equation. You consult face-to-face, you exceed expectations, and you totally delight your clients with your expertise. The ADR strategy simply takes those already delighted clients and gives them something of genuine value. Maybe it's a highly informative ebook or a dedicated legal resources app. This makes it incredibly frictionless and rewarding for them to share your firm with their own personal and professional networks.
Let's enthusiastically walk through the actual tactical steps to execute this. First, use push marketing to boost a keyword-centric video on Facebook directly to a targeted audience. Once they engage, anyone who watches that video becomes a warm audience. Second, you retarget that specific group, inviting them to download your referral app or an ebook. Third, within that app, you provide a super easy, one-click option for your clients to share the content or leave a glowing review. And fourth, you actively reward them for those referrals. You are moving a completely cold audience to a warm one, and ultimately, you're letting your existing, happy clients do the heavy marketing lifting for you.
Now, the real power of this approach lies in the math, and it is truly exponential. If you have just 100 delighted clients and you give them an automated, easy-to-use digital tool to share your expertise with their social networks, your probable market reach explodes to around 24,000 people. Think about the contrast there. You aren't desperately fighting 5 million generic Google results. You're bypassing the search engine entirely and landing right in the laps of 24,000 warm leads through a trusted personal connection.
To summarize this whole journey, think of it as a continuous growth cycle. Step 1, attract your market. Step 2, delight your clients by over-delivering. Step 3, reward them by giving them something valuable to share. Step 4, research their ongoing needs. Step 5, structure your content to address those very specific pain points. And Step 6, target them again. This creates a continuous, automated loop of scalable growth. You're building a self-sustaining ecosystem driven by your firm's real-world credibility rather than just hoping for a lucky click on Google.
So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to chew on. Are you just broadcasting blindly into the void of a 1.3 billion website internet, hoping someone eventually stumbles across you? Or are you actively giving your delighted clients a frictionless reason to share your expertise? Adopting referral technology to digitize your word of mouth might just be the exact game changer your firm needs. It is time to stop waiting around to be found and start empowering your clients to grow your business for you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer today. I really hope this sparks some fantastic ideas for your firm's future.